Hello, third graders. It is week 3 of our distance learning, and I wanted to talk a little bit about L4 and L5 on your Learn card. I would recommend watching the video that goes with L4, and remember you can find that on the Fargo Public Schools homepage. So look at that first, but I'm going to talk a little bit more about what those red questions mean, because that is something we have not talked about before. So, first of all, I have a anchor chart here that talks about green questions and red questions. So, green questions are questions that you can just go to your text and find the answer. Red questions are ones that you have to stop and think. So, we've talked about inferences before, and that's exactly what red questions are. So, you take what you know, what the text knows, and or the text says, and that will help you figure out what the answer is. Okay, I did pull up a book to read and show you examples of these red questions. So you can either use this book and write some red questions from this, or you can use another book, whichever one is fine. So this book is Good Dogs, Guide Dogs by Caleb Graham. Dog owners, skipped a page. Hold on. Dog owners love their pets for many reasons. Dogs can be good friends to people and fun to play with. Lots of dogs can perform tricks. But some dogs do things that are very special. Some dogs spend their lives helping people. Dogs helping people. Having a disability means that a person is not able to do something such as seeing or hearing. These people may need assistance or help doing tasks like finding their way down crowded sidewalks or hearing a doorbell ring. A dog trained to help a person with a disability is called an assistance dog. These dogs help people who are disabled perform tasks that they might not be able to do easily on their own. So an example of a green question on this page would be, what is an assistance dog? And you could look in the text and see right there what that is. Guide dogs. The best known type of assistance dog is a guide dog, also known as a seeing eye dog. A guide dog assists someone who cannot see. The dog acts like the person's eyes, guiding the person while he or she walks. If there is another person or an object in the person's way, the dog will gently guide the person safely around the obstacle. Laws for guide dogs. In many places in the United States, dogs are not allowed in restaurants or on public transportation such as buses. But because guide dogs are so important to their partners, the people they are helping, there are special laws for these dogs. These laws allow the dogs to go into restaurants with their partners and ride on buses and trains. Now, I almost said it. What is this thing here in the red? Remember in our text features, what would that be called? If you said sidebar, you are correct. How about this? This would be an example of a photograph. And then right down here, a guide dog is lying quietly next to its partner in a restaurant. If you said caption, you are correct. Humans realized long ago that dogs had certain qualities that were helpful to people. Dogs can see and hear better than humans. Dogs have the ability to find things by smelling them. These natural qualities help dogs survive in the wild. And in general, dogs are very social animals. That means they like to be around other dogs and people. Some breeds or types of dogs are better as guide dogs than other breeds. Guide dogs usually have to be large in order to guide their owners through crowds. They need to be strong and obedient and or able to follow commands. German Shepherds and Labrador Retrievers are two of the breeds used most often as guide dogs. These dogs are strong, attentive, and loyal. These qualities make them great teammates for a person with a disability. So, an example of a green question on this page could be, Why are German Shepherds and Labs a type of dog that's used for guide dogs? It says right in the text. They're strong, attentive, and loyal. So that would be an example of a green question. It says it right there for us. How a guide dog is trained. Most guide dogs are raised from puppies to do their jobs. When a dog is about a year old, it begins its training. First, trainers work with a dog to teach it the tasks it will need to know in order to help a person with a disability. The dog will learn to stop at street corners and to walk around obstacles such as ladders and bushes. During training, a dog may whine and his legs may start to quiver. The dog has to practice over and over. Puppies being trained as guide dogs learn to follow human partners. So on this page, we have an example of a red question. So a question I could ask about this page would be, why are most guide dogs trained as puppies? Now, if you look, it doesn't say anything about why they are, but you could take what you know about dogs and what the text has said to help answer that question. And what I would say, the answer to why are most guide dogs trained as puppies is because dogs learn better when they are younger. They might not have bad habits that they have started doing when they're older, and they're smaller. Maybe it's easier to train them when they're smaller. Another red question on this page would also be at the end where it says the dog has to practice over and over. Well, why do they have to practice over and over? Okay. So that one I'm not going to answer for you. I want you to think about that one. So why would a dog have to practice over and over? Early on, a guide dog has to learn not to misbehave. A guide dog can't get excited about distractions in its environment, such as loud noises or interesting smells. The dog has to stay calm in all situations. A guide dog cannot snap at people when it is upset or frightened. And the caption on this page says, guide dogs are taught not to be distracted by other dogs or people. Okay? I'm thinking of a few different red questions on this page. So I'm going to pause for just a second so you can look at this page and see if you can think of at least one red question based on this page. So what is something that I might wonder more about that doesn't say right in the text? Okay, next page. Next, each dog meets a possible partner. The partner and dog will spend some time training together. Often, partners will come stay at the guide dog training center. The dog and the person get to know each other and learn to trust each other. Together, they become a team. A trainer comes along on trips to supervise the partners and make suggestions. The new partners start to get attached to each other as they learn. So, again, on this page, why is it important for them to spend time training together? Why do they need to learn to trust each other? Oddly enough, one of the most important things a guide dog must learn to do is disobey. It sounds strange, but it's true. This skill is called intelligent disobedience. A guide dog might need to disobey in order to save its partner's life. For example, if a partner tells the dog to go ahead and cross a busy street, but the dog knows that it's unsafe, the dog has to refuse to obey. A guide dog needs to know how to keep its partner safe near busy streets. So here's an example of a green question on this page. What is intelligence disobedience? And if you look, it says that is when a dog has to disobey because it's a good decision. Finally, there's a nice transition word. Finally, when the training period is complete, the dog goes to its new home with its partner. The dog has to get used to a new home environment. This often includes new people, such as the friends and family of the dog's new partner. It can take a few months until the dog feels confident and comfortable, but soon the dog and partner will form a strong, lasting relationship. So this question could be, it's kind of, I would say, a yellow question because it's a little bit of text evidence and a little bit of your inference. So why does it take a few months for a dog to become comfortable in their new house? And then we have a sidebar, which is what I was asking you earlier. This is called a sidebar. Remember, sidebars are parts of information that's kind of separate. So here's our last sidebar. More dogs that help. Guide dogs aren't the only kind of assistance dogs. Some assistance dogs help people who are sick by making them feel better. These dogs are called therapy dogs. Therapy dogs visit nursing homes and hospitals. Other dogs work with police officers. They patrol the streets together. At the end of a 12-hour work shift, the dogs are ready for a rest. So another bonus question. What was the name of the dog that we read about with his officer? It was Officer Mike and blank. And what kind of dog is that called? It's like I don't know if I want to say two letters. It's one letter and one number. See if you can remember what that is called. Okay, so there's some therapy dogs at a hospital. Freedom and independence. People with disabilities are like everyone else. They just have to learn to do some things a little differently. That's where assistance dogs, such as guide dogs, can help. These loyal, determined animals allow their partners to move through the world with the freedom and independence that everyone deserves. Okay, so one last question before we stop. Author's purpose. So, why did the author write this book? Remember, we used the acronym PIE. So, did the author write it to persuade? Did the author write it to inform? Or did the author write it to entertain? And what is your proof? So, right here, they actually tell us the purpose is to show what guide dogs do. So, which one would that be? Persuade, inform, or entertain? Okay, so there you go. There's some examples of red questions for your L4 and L5 on your Learn card. If you have any other questions, you can either email me or have your parents let me know on Seesaw. All right, talk to you guys later.